Hello everyone, welcome to the 5-Minute Discovery channel. There is a youngest country in the world, which is only 10 years old. What is special is that this country is much younger than many people watching this video. While many other countries have a history of hundreds, thousands of years, this country has only just passed the threshold of 10 years old, a very modest but meaningful number. Let's go back in time to the historic moment at 00 on July 9, 2011, when the Republic of South Sudan was officially born. In just a few days, this young country became a member of the United Nations and the African Union. What is even more special is that the first baby born after South Sudan's independence was named Independence. But the boy's life was tragic as he only lasted a year. The story of South Sudan is not only a new journey but also a painful half-century of conflict between the southern rebels and the Sudanese government. The conflict has claimed the lives of about 2 million people, leaving behind many losses. So, where is South Sudan? It is a land in the heart of Africa, where tragic and hopeful stories are still being written every day. Let's explore more about this young but resilient country. South Sudan, a country in northeastern Africa, has an interesting history. After separating from Sudan, the country still has a large area of 644.329 square kilometers, but a population of only about 13 million people. What is special is that people here use more than 60 indigenous languages, reflecting the diversity of many ethnic groups. However, the only official language is English, an interesting connection to the outside world. Before 2011, South Sudan was part of Sudan, its northern neighbor. At that time, Sudan was known as the largest country in Africa, and even after South Sudan separated, Sudan still holds an important position in the region. The people of South Sudan are mainly indigenous, practicing Christianity and some local beliefs, with worship of gods such as earth gods, stone gods and sun gods. Meanwhile, neighboring Sudan is predominantly Muslim, creating a diverse cultural landscape in the region. South Sudan's capital, Juba, is a hub of cultural and economic activity, but also a place where huge challenges lie ahead. South Sudan is considered one of the poorest countries in the world, dependent on aid from developed countries such as the US, UK, Norway and the Netherlands. In rural areas, the average income per person is less than $1 a day, while inflation is extremely high. Sadly, 82% of South Sudan's population lives below the poverty line, and more than 7 million people are at risk of hunger. According to the World Bank, in 2018, more than 60% of South Sudan's population faced severe hunger. The effects of war, drought, and floods have made life more difficult than ever. In addition, swarms of desert locusts have repeatedly devastated crops, plunging the country into chronic poverty. Life in South Sudan is often lived in makeshift huts with poor sanitation. Up to 80% of the population lacks any sanitation facilities, and more than 90% of people live without electricity. The education and healthcare systems are also weak, with the highest illiteracy rates in the world. Only 16% of children attend school, and less than 2% complete primary school, a heartbreaking statistic. Wealth in South Sudan is not measured by money, but by the number of livestock each family owns. Men with more cattle are considered richer, and they are more likely to marry. South Sudan's economy is almost entirely dependent on oil, with 98% of its revenue coming from this source. Before seceding from Sudan, South Sudan accounted for 85% of the country's oil production. However, the reality is not as simple as expected. Despite its oil wealth, South Sudan is landlocked and relies on aging infrastructure. Oil pipelines mainly pass through Sudan, making oil extraction very difficult. It was not until the signing of the peace agreement in 2018 that South Sudan began exporting crude oil in larger quantities. South Sudan, despite facing serious challenges such as corruption and inflation, still possesses great natural beauty and rich biodiversity. According to Transparency International, this country ranks last in the Transparency Index. But now, let's put aside the sad stories to explore the beauty of nature here. South Sudan is covered by tropical forests, swamps and grasslands. The White River flows gently along the country, near the capital Juba, creating a magical natural picture. However, the long-term conflicts have significantly affected the flora and fauna here. The number of animals, especially elephants, has decreased significantly and is at risk of extinction. In the 2011 referendum, one of the important reasons for the people's determination to gain independence was the desire to end the war and protect animals from extinction. In addition to elephants, South Sudan is home to a wide range of wildlife, including lions, leopards, giraffes, zebras, and hippos. As the war has subsided, these rare animals have had a chance to recover and thrive. South Sudan's bird life is also incredibly diverse, with species such as ostriches, grouse, cranes, storks, pelicans, and nightingales. Nile crocodiles are among the prominent reptiles here, while insects, especially mosquitoes and blood-sucking flies, contribute to a rich but challenging natural landscape. The good news for South Sudan is that the country is home to several national parks and reserves, which are home to one of the world's largest wildlife migrations. Every year, around 1.3 million antelopes move through the country in search of food, creating one of the world's most incredible natural wonders. With this rich biodiversity, South Sudan is gradually reshaping its image, moving towards sustainable tourism development. Alongside South Sudan, we have another young country with a unique and complex story, Kosovo. Located in Europe, Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in February 2008. Once a province of Serbia, it has emerged as a force for good. However, Kosovo still faces economic challenges, ethnic tensions, crime, and the scars of war. Although Kosovo has become a state, many countries do not recognize it, considering it merely a territory. This creates a complex reality in international relations. With an area of nearly 11.000 square kilometers and a population of about 2 million, 90% of whom are ethnic Albanians, Kosovo is also considered the cultural cradle of Serbia, home to many important historical legacies. However, Kosovo is not alone in its quest for identity. Not far away, in Asia, East Timor is also writing its own story. Once part of Indonesia, East Timor has had a difficult journey to independence, with an area of just over 15.000 square kilometers. This small country is located on the eastern side of the Chima Peninsula and several neighboring islands. On the 20th of May 2002, East Timor officially became an independent country, marking an important milestone in the 21st century. They joined the United Nations and the Portuguese-speaking community, having previously been a Portuguese colony. In the Pacific region, we cannot help but mention another young country, Palau. It was officially established in 1994, having previously been a United Nations Trust territory. Despite its independence, Palau still receives financial support from the United States, which has administered it for many years. With a population of just over 20.000, Palau is one of the least populous countries in the world. Returning to Africa, not only South Sudan but also the Central African Republic, where the Blue Berets, United Nations peacekeeping forces, have made their mark. These soldiers, including soldiers, police officers, and civilians, carry out a noble mission, maintaining peace and providing humanitarian assistance. With the blue color symbolizing the United Nations, they carry out their mission with a neutral stance, not taking sides in conflicts. According to the People's Army newspaper, as of November 2020, Vietnam has had a significant presence in the peacekeeping force. Vietnam sent 50 officers to participate individually and more than 126 officers in 2 rounds of Level 2 field hospitals. The areas in which Vietnam participates include staff, logistics, military medicine and military observers. In particular, Vietnamese soldiers also organize farming classes, helping the people of South Sudan overcome hunger and disease. There is a touching story about Vietnam's presence in Africa. When UN vehicles pass through rebel checkpoints, they often encounter difficulties, but when they see the words Vietnam or the red flag with a yellow star on the soldiers' uniforms, they will receive a warm welcome. Because the people here understand that the Vietnamese people who come here not only bring support but also have a noble heart, ready to help without asking for anything in return. The story of South Sudan and the presence of Vietnam are not only memorable, but also a testament to the spirit of solidarity and humanity. If you find this story interesting, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next interesting videos. Thank you for watching, and see you again in the next journeys.